5 years, built from the ground up, Queens made, Pennsylvania paid, the real no. Yeah. Everybody stand up. Mobtube built it from the ground up. 5 years strong and they still can't move them. Talk all day, but they'll never outdo them. Never. We don't break, we grow. Everybody knows when it's time for the show. Let's go. Tony Pizza, Tony So Flow. Still mad. Still can't stop what the Ezo crew know. 5 years deep, turned a webcam to a throne. Facts. Built a whole movement from a microphone. Let's work. Started talking mob history. Facts in every show. Now the whole Mobtube universe follows where we go. Mobtube. Queens in his bloodstream. Woo! Pennsylvania home. Queens. Built his own legacy, never needed a throne. Facts. Back in the day, DJ CeeLo moved crowds. Now we move debates and leave opponents looking down. Every point sharp like a freshly honed blade. Woo! Never need theatrics when the facts get displayed. Woo! Break your whole argument brick by brick before you even blink. That's game, that's it. Now they count every dollar, every meal, every ride. Pocket watching another man instead of living their life. Funny how success turns strangers into spies. Watching every move with envy in their eyes. Keep watching. Izzo. Everybody stand up. Mobtube built it from the ground up. 5 years strong and they still can't move them. Nope. Talk all day, but they'll never outdo them. Never. We don't break, we grow. Everybody knows when it's time for the show. Mobtube, Tony Pizza, Tony So Flow. Tula still can't stop with the Izzo crew. No. Funny how betrayal always comes from your side. Facts. People switch colors when they swallow their pride. Smiles in your face, whispers behind your back. Till the truth pull up and expose every act. Every other month, the show's finished. That's the line, and the numbers come back and prove them wrong every time. Can't bury a legend that's still alive. 5 years later, still leading the drive. 5 years. Salute, miss, can't be wrong. Always holding it down. Much love. D. Ganey, always around. Respect. Michael Hensley, War. Dave Soto, too. Tom Shea, you're the heartbeat of the crew. Family. And then everybody watching every night when we go live. Whether in the chat or just enjoying the ride. This movement ain't one man, it's all of us together. Izzo forever, no matter the weather. They throw low blows, we throw facts. They burn bridges, we build back. They chase drama, we chase truth. That's the difference, that's the proof. Let's go. Everybody stand up. Mobtube built it from the ground up. Queens heart with a Pennsylvania flow. SPS running this, everybody know. We don't break, we grow. Real ones rise while the fake lay low. 5 years strong, watch the empire grow. Long live Mobtube. Long live Izzo. Still here, still winning. Still the most talked about name on Mobtube facts. To everybody that's been riding since day one, thank you, family. To everybody still watching, even the haters, thanks for the view, thanks for the view.
What's up, guys? It's Friday. How's everybody doing today? I had a crazy fucking morning. Oh my God. I got to tell you about this shit. Josh Munn. I do 2 different types of content on here. This is something different. That's why if you ever see Mobtube in the title, it's not a politics show, but thank you. I'm glad to be back to it too. But we talk about other stuff on here. We leave politics out of it. Sean Landon Clark, $10. We don't do freestyle. We do pay style. Let it rain, folks. I like that. Thank you for the $10, brother. Sally, $5. It's Friday, guys. It is. Thank you, Sally. Malik Irvin, matching Sally and double daring someone else to match. Well, there you go. He's one of the biggest sponsors of this show, and he's triple double dog daring you to match. What are you going to fucking do? Back down? All right. Thank you, guys, man. You're awesome. I didn't expect to have 3 super chats already. I'm taking a different approach from now on. I'm not going to be asking for donations anymore. I'm just going to listen. I don't like what I did the other day, and I know that you guys donate when you can. There's really no need for me to ever say anything, but I'm never gonna, guilt you guys or any of that shit. My apologies. My apologies. I I guess it's just, listen, the one thing we all worry about constantly in life is money, and it just the pressure of the bills and everything else, it just, I don't know. But anyway, you'll see a different FBS as far as that goes from now on. Everything else will be the same. Guys, check this story out, and then we'll get on to talking about Mobtube shit, whatever. Listen to this. No, I know, Sally. I know. Well, I'll get into. I don't even want to keep talking about that, but I'll maybe another time I'll get back into it. What I've been thinking the last few days and stuff. But like I said, I'm going to give you guys a break. I mean, if you want to donate, that's awesome, but I'm not going to force you to. And I'm busting my ass on the politics shows, so I'm at least getting super chats. I don't get any cash on those shows, though. I don't think they trust the links. But I do get super chats, and yesterday I got altogether, well, money-wise, I don't know, $100 maybe, but I got a lot of fucking views. I got 40,000 views, something like that. So anyway, listen to this. This story is actually interesting. You know how we do Walmart orders, and we do them often. We don't. I used to go to the grocery store almost every fucking day. I would do all that shit. Shanna works, so I would be at Walmart constantly. I'm sure you guys remember. Always buying shit, always grocery shopping. It was never ending. Then we discovered that you could have this shit delivered, just order online. So anyway, that's what we've been doing. I'm not. I just, all I'm saying, I know you're probably here to troll me or talk shit. All I'm saying is, when I act that way, that's, it's just like, it's the reason, it's pressure. You got to keep money coming in, so it's not an excuse, just a reason. So anyway, so we do those deliveries now. So this morning we ordered a $400 order. Okay. It was like a $40 tip. So $360, whatever in food. Well, this is what happened. I was up here in my room here. I called Shanna, who was downstairs on the couch. I said, Shanna, why don't you fill the Walmart cart and we'll do an order early? Because there's some stuff I like that I eat regularly, that like wraps and stuff that they sell out of real early in the day. So I wanted to do an early order. So I told Shanna, fill up the cart as quick as you can, and then we'll order, what we need. So she filled it up. Now, I also worked on what I needed. So I hit her up and said, hey, baby, do me a favor. Order whenever you're ready. I'm done. Okay. Well, 30 seconds later, she texts me, I'm done, baby. Love you. I guess she didn't listen to the message yet. Well, we both wound up ordering it. So now I'm watching the notifications and the updates and stuff. And I'm like, wait a fucking minute. Why didn't it just say Robert was shopping our order? And now, like 20 minutes later, we got another message that says Jasmine is shopping our order. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then one order has certain things, the other order doesn't because they're sold out, stuff like that. I didn't know what was going on, but it never occurred to me. You're worried about $5 super chats and tipping some guy. Yes, Van House Life. Yeah, don't you get it? Stupid tipping. It's very important to me, jackass. Thanks for. You guys should never even say anything to me because I'll make you look like a fool no matter what. You can't win. You really can't win with me. Yeah, not 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100, 200, 500, anything. And yes, that's because I believe in tipping. And I tipped them $40. Stupid. I believe in tipping. I tip everybody. That's another reason I get the way I do about, these live streams, because it's just the way I am. So somebody block Van House Life. He's already pissing me off. So anyway, we finally figure out, because we get the order, right? They leave a ton of shit. It's like 15, 20 bags on the porch. And then I looked at the phone and it gave me a notification that my order's on the way. Right after I got a notification that my order's been delivered. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? So now I'm thinking we're out $800, not 400, 800. So I call Walmart and I'm flipping out in the bitch. She's telling me I can't cancel it. I'm like, I thought they were, I don't know why they said they were on the way. She said, I don't even know if they knew what they were talking about. She said she's still in the store. I can't cancel it though. I said, go over to the chick, tap her on the shoulder and say, stop shopping. Order's canceled. Oh, I can't. You got to call 1-800-Walmart. So I'm yelling at her. I'm telling her, listen, I'm not paying this shit. Even if I get the fucking food, I'll dispute the charge. I'm not paying. I'm screaming at her on my porch. So Shanna called 1-800-Walmart. They told us, keep the food and we'll refund your money. So we just got $360 worth of food for free. I actually had to clean out both freezers and just throw all the old shit away just to fit all the new shit in there. So that's why I was a little late for the show. We got a free $360 worth of food. So, hey, if you ever want to try it, apparently it works. Order some shit. I said, why would you let the order go through twice? What the fuck? Anyway, that's enough of that. It's my story for the day. Your intro Yizzo song is nearly identical to a song called Runway by Mad Child. Oh, Runaway, I'm sorry. The beat is so close, even with the same keyboard sounds, and the flow is really similar. It's freaky how close it is. Well, that's a Kaz song, that one. That's a Kaz song. You know, my songs are like 20, all the songs about people on here, 22 years, the pizza songs, the SoFlo songs, the Chicky songs, the Lefty songs, all those songs I made. But Run Pizza Run and part 2 of Run Pizza Run and the FBS song, those are Kaz. And they're just masterpieces. All right. So anyway, guys, Mobtube. And by the way, I see we don't have many people. I know that's generally, I've been noticing the last couple of times I did Freestyle Fridays, unless I name the show something specific, like something about pizza or SoFlo, we get less people. I guess they're not as interested in just hearing me ramble. Understandable, I guess. But the more I do these politics shows, the less people I'm going to get in the Mobtube shows, just because of the algorithm. It'll start promoting that. It'll be all confused, and I won't get anybody on here. So, but it is what it is. Ronan 456, my man. So Tony Pizza yesterday, I saw that now I did some stuff. What was yesterday? Thursday? Yeah, Wednesday night I did some stuff, you know, pertaining to Tony's channel. And I kind of, you know, hinted around that I was going to do that on my last live stream. So I spent a couple of hours doing what I had to do. And I wake up the next morning and I already got a message from Joey Dimes. Everything's gone from Pizza's channel. It's just, you know, one video, right? So I looked at it. I was like, well, what do you know? Look at that. So he hasn't been live. Now, listen, it could be because he got struck and he can't go live, but it could also be that he's just being a bitch. Maybe he got a strike or two and now he's scared. So he took all his videos down because Tony, we are going to keep strike. Your channel's going away. You cross the line and that's when I take your channels down. If you don't know how you cross the line, just think back over the last few days. You cross the line, your channel comes down, bitch. That's it. And we're going to start doing that to SoFlo too, but he crosses the line every day. So we're just going to work on taking his channel down constantly. But you know, for whatever reason, you're not going live. And to tell you the truth, guys, I know you're not going to believe this, but I like it. I told you, if we could erase him from Mobtube, I don't give a fuck if I never had anything to talk about again. And you know me, I'd always come up with something. But he could go the fuck away for all I care. Tony Pizza's an animal. I don't want him on YouTube. But he will be, especially after I did this video, maybe within 10 minutes, an hour, if he can access his channel, which I don't know. I don't know. But Tony, I got news for you because there's still a couple of things I have to write. YouTube told me they need more information on some things. So when you put your videos on private, they could still be struck, bro. I hope you know that. They could still be struck. So, but I already got the complaints in and shit. It's not going to matter. You don't realize that when I tell you there's certain things I could strike you for, you just laugh and keep doing this shit. And then when you cross the line, I say, okay, now I can use what he did to take his channel down. That's it. With those phone calls. What phone calls? You mean about Mobtube? Is that what you're talking about us, Frank? It's a shame his mom didn't go away or didn't do away with him from the get-go. Of course, that's why I hate Natalie. You know, I do. I used to feel bad for her. Now I fucking hate her, especially since I see she's still dealing with this dickhead. Let's see. I wonder what the pizza death show will be like. It's like an ending to a movie that I need to see. Yeah, well, the thing is, I don't even know if we'll find out. I mean, honestly, we'll know when he just disappears that he's dead, because nothing is ever going to stop him from coming on YouTube. So once he's gone for a month or something like that, he's dead. That's it. That's how we know. There's nobody in his life that's going to inform anyone, you know? Nobody. He has no one. He has no one. Like, if God forbid something happened to me, my brother, my stepkids, my daughter, even Shanna, my daughter stays far away from this, but they would come on here and tell you guys exactly what's going on. You know what I mean? Tony, he has nobody. Who's going to tell anyone? You know, I told you, he's going to end up in like a Potter's Field type of situation, you know, which is exactly where he belongs, in an unmarked fucking grave, dead as a fucking doornail, you know, and trapped in a box that even if he comes back to life, he can never get out of. And he's got 6 feet of dirt on top of him. So he's done after that. It's the only way I'll finally be satisfied. Well, he keeps using the N-word. They should take him down permanently for that. Well, guys, listen, all this shit, man, strike it. Strike it. Strike it. There's so many things you can strike. The pictures he uses of me with Sessa where my face is all bloody, strike it for, I think it's violent and repulsive content. Simple as that. Even if it's in his community post, you know, stuff like that, you can use that. Me personally, any of my AI images he uses, I own the rights, so I could strike him for each one of those. There's a bunch of things. When he uses the N-word, you could strike him for that. When he goes on rants, you know, racist rants and tirades about gay people, you can strike him for that. Just keep doing it, you know? Political shows. Oh, the calls from the oh, man. Bro, believe me, man. Yesterday, I was never so happy to end a show. That first show with that fucking lunatic that called in, that guy, ask S. Frank, guys. I'm not going to get political here, but this guy called in, and a lot of them do this, almost all of them. Matter of fact, the only guy who doesn't do it, there's a black guy that calls in quite often, and we have a nice debate, calm, relaxed, and we end the phone call on a good note, right? Even though we disagree on everything. This fucking guy keeps calling me from Nebraska. And the other day he called, I had to hang up on him because he kept talking about the Jews, the Jew, you know, it's no good. They'll take me down. So he calls back in yesterday. I didn't realize it was the same guy. And we wind up having like a 90-minute debate. This fucking guy, and a lot of them do this. S. Frank, he would not shut the fuck up. No matter what question I tried to answer, no matter what point I tried to bring up, he just kept talking and talking and talking and talking. It was unbelievable. I mean, even when I would tell him, bro, you got to shut up. It's my show. You got to let me answer. He would just keep going. It's like he doesn't know how to conduct himself in a conversation. That's what I told him. I said, what are you, raised by fucking wolves? So that is nuts, says Frank. You know what I mean? But listen, man, you know me. As long as I'm getting paid, I'll do whatever. And I've been, you know, yesterday I probably made well over 100 in super chats, I think. So that's worth it for me. So, because now, you know, it's a situation where I actually get more. I don't really get super chats on here much anymore. Very, very rarely. So that's why, you know, those politics shows are useful. You hated him, Troll Slayer. I'm blocking his number. I destroyed him yesterday in 50 different ways, and I'm not dealing with him no more. This is why Parker Get a Job and Dean Withers, they ask, as soon as somebody calls in, they say, have you called in before? And if they say yes, they hang up on them. One debate, that's it. It's over. I mean, that's how it's got to be. That clown didn't let you get a word in. No, I mean, it was unreal. I had to just start turning the volume down on his phone, and he couldn't hear me answering him, but the audience could hear me, you know, my rebuttal to his fucking stupid points. People that are psycho into politics are generally exhausting. Political fatigue trumps. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's tough, man. But listen, you guys know me. That goes to show you. I won't just sit here and cry about you guys not donating. You know, I'll just go do some other shit. You know what I mean? And that's what I've been doing the last couple of days. And I'm going to do it today and every day. Every live I do, my views go up substantially. So we're going to get back to the point where I'm getting 500 to 1,200 live viewers in every chat and all that. And that's when you really make money. So anyway, guys, yeah. I don't know what's going on with Pizza. He does have this way of disappearing, as you know, especially if something happens to his channel, even if he's not struck and he can access his channel and go live whenever he wants. I don't know if it's the anger. I don't know if it's like he thinks he's, hurting us in some way, but he disappears. And I just wish he would disappear permanently from the face of the earth. From the face of the earth. But he'll be back on. Probably, I wouldn't doubt if he goes back on during this live stream, if he can access the channel. If not, he'll be on SoFlo's sorry ass channel, the food stamp channel. He'll be over there. I listened to that show. I was about ready to climb through the phone lines. You heard what I said at one point, Phil, way into the conversation. I said, if I was in front of him, I'd rip his fucking head off. Like the rudest person I ever fucking met, man. But anyway, so yeah, SoFlo is if I had it my way, SoFlo would no, Soto, he's talking about, remember that guy I debated yesterday? And Soto, I don't know if you saw that I answered your question, but Trump also, used a lot of our oil preserves to keep gas prices down, oil reserves. I'm sorry, what did I say? Hold on, guys. Okay. No, his name wasn't Tony, I don't think. I think we got our wires crossed here. Anyway, guys, his backup channel is SoFlo's channel now. SoFlo have him on anytime. He still doesn't realize he's being used. And now I see Johnny Mac using him too. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, there's a point, like I'll let Tony get away with certain shit until he goes too far. And then time for you to go. Time for you to go. He's the first motherfucker to lose his mind if you ever mention someone in his fucking family, but he'll go after yours non-fucking stop. It's like if Dish It Out but Can't Take It was a fucking person, it would be Tony Pizza. SoFlo too. The two of them are the biggest victims I ever met. SoFlo's never responsible for anything he does. I mean, the whole world he probably 3 different periods of time where we were fighting, where we started fighting. The whole fucking Mobtube watched him attack my wife viciously while I said nothing about Tina, her mother, or anyone. Then when I finally retaliate and start talking about her, oh, you gonna go after my wife, big dog, green light. It's like, wow. Either you're just lying through your fucking teeth, like as if I'm the first person to go at family, or you forgot everything you just did over the last 6 months. I don't know which it is. I don't know, but he knows. He's just he's a fucking scumbag, and he's James Horrell, $5 for green light on Dono's chat for Big Dog. Thank you very, very much, man. I appreciate that $5 a lot. I do. What was I gonna say? Oh, this is his life, his whole life. I'm sure as a kid, when he got in trouble, his parents bailed his ass out, even his prison sentence. I don't know if you guys know, but he was supposed to get life and he wound up appealing it and it got cut down. He wound up doing 22 years. If only that appeal didn't go through. But he, I don't know if he thinks he can get away with it or he always winds up getting lucky in some fucking way. But this attitude, like you did it to me, I did nothing to you. That's probably his whole life. You know what I mean? His whole fucking life. He's the kind of dude that he'll steal a credit card from a mail truck and go use it, run up thousands of dollars, and then blame the person for not, like you should have went to the truck the day it was being delivered and gotten your credit card, big dog. Since you didn't, I got it. Ha ha. That kind of shit. You know what I mean? It's always somebody else's fucking fault. Always. When you look at that guy's criminal record, it's still, It's astounding to me. I don't understand. Where we live in a system where if you sell cocaine, you could wind up in prison for life. If you sell too much weed, you could wind up in federal prison for life. If you sell crack, 5 grams of crack will get you 5 years in prison. But you can have a fucking record like Tony Soflo and be out in 22 years. It's unbelievable. That's why I tell you guys, the so-called system, all they care about is money. Okay. Drug dealers will always be their number one target. And of course, organizations like the mafia and stuff, anywhere where they can take money, seize money and keep it, seize property and keep it. That's all. I told you, I had a drug task force agent tell me once, we don't care about drugs on the street. We'd rather get a guy with, what did he say? 5 bags of heroin and $1,000 rather than 1,000 bags of heroin and $5. So it's the money. You know what I mean? That's all they care about. That's all they fucking care. That's why people like Tony, they commit rapes, they commit all kinds of crimes. I told you, my one friend, he got 33 years in prison. And a couple of days later, right after he got sentenced, all he did was sell crack, coke. He got caught with a bulletproof vest, a bunch of guns in a storage unit. 33 years in federal prison. A few days later, there was an article in the York Daily Record about a guy who raped 4 women. He got 4 years. 4 years. So, it's all bullshit. But that's why people like Tony get to walk the earth. And you know what the thing is, though? When I talk about pizza, you've heard me say a million times, he's the luckiest man on planet Earth. And a lot of the reason I say that is because he's managed to skate through life without putting the slightest bit of effort in. He's been handed every dime he's gotten since he was born, really. Because as soon as he was 16 and left home, he was probably panhandling right away then too. And look, he tried to get his mother for child support. So he just wants free money. He'll never work or anything. And somehow he's made it home as a homeless person for 43 fucking years now, whatever it's been. And 43, what would it be? 43, I think, right? Why can't I do math today? I feel like Eric the Midget. Yeah, I believe so. 43 years he's been homeless. And he's lucky that way, of course, but he's also lucky in the fact that for somebody like Tony Pizza, with the stuff he does, for him not to be in prison for a very, very long time, it's probably the luckiest thing that's happened to him, even above all the free money he's gotten, because he commits probably 75 felonies a day on YouTube. I'm not kidding. No exaggeration. When he really makes threats to split people's heads open and he gets all fucking detailed on what he's going to do to you, I'm leaving you on a pool of your own blood, I'm going to blow your house up. First of all, the fact that he's still on YouTube just goes to show you, if you're nobody, you could have YouTube channels till the end of time, no matter how many times they take you down. But for the crimes, and I'm sure people have called the cops on Tony, at very least Soflo has, sure. He should be in prison with all the stuff he said and done. He talks about raping people's children and all this shit, but he just skates on it, So, Tony Pizza is like one of those, like a spoiled little rich white boy, which is the kind of person I could never stand. But even to this day, he shows you that on a daily basis when he talks about my trust, which is most likely bullshit. But you only hear little rich kids talking like that. Tony's the only person I've ever seen in my fucking life who has lived homeless for 43 years while bragging that he has a wealthy family. Anybody ever see him sick? No, Soto, that's another thing I talked about one time. He doesn't get sick. I've had COVID, I think, I know for sure 2 times because I got tested and tested positive. I'm pretty sure there was a 3rd time. I'm almost positive. I just, the test I took it early when I first started getting sick. It said negative. Who knows? Maybe it was the flu. But I've had the flu, I've had COVID a couple of times, and listen, throughout my life, I'm getting older now, but I used to never I'd go years without ever getting sick. And then it would be like a cold for one day, or, I'd throw up and diarrhea for a day, some shit like that when I was a kid or in my 20s and 30s. I never got sick like that. But now, I'm older and shit, and everybody gets sick. I've seen all of you guys at one point or another, the main people here, talk about being sick with the flu or something, or having some sort of physical problems. You got in a car accident, you got a broken leg, you got this, you got that. And Tony Pizza, no, even when he gets in a fucking car crash, he's fine. This is why, too, I don't believe in God, but when he does the God looks out for me, God takes care of my enemies, when he says shit like that, I told you, I don't think he believes in God at all. But it's just like when I say thank God. It's just an expression. It's what I said my whole life. It means I'm grateful. It doesn't mean I don't actually believe in a God, okay, of any kind. And neither does he. He just plays that Christian thing up for money. He's too evil to believe there's a God. Just the fact that he exists is proof there's no God. And he, what was I going to say? He'll do, he'll talk about that, how God is on his side and stuff. And he does it with a smirk on his face because he knows that he has this lucky streak. He knows that somehow he lives a charmed life. I know it sounds crazy. He's homeless. His life sucks. It sucks to us. That motherfucker is content with a car and some Wawa food, or a seafood dinner. He's content. I put in the one song I wrote. He's always been a fuck up. So food feels like he's winning or some shit. I forget what it was. Something about that. And it's true, because the only thing Tony can brag about having is expensive dinners. Any car he gets is a piece of fucking junk. He has no clothes. He has no real possessions. But food to him is like, he made it. If he could sit down and order a fucking steak and a lobster tail, he feels like we would feel if we just bought a fucking, $750,000 house on a fucking hill and we're married to a supermodel and had a fucking Bentley in the driveway. That's how he feels. So, everybody's different. Everybody has a different standard of living. So just because we look at him and say we'd rather die than live a day like that, he doesn't know. This is the best Tony Pizza has done in his life. Remember that. And it's the best he'll ever do. Tony Pizza has never even been in the situation he is now, where he's making money panhandling and he has a car, he could travel freely, and well, I don't want to say, I told you what I think about the whole freedom thing, but this is the best life he's ever lived. And it's not going to get better because he won't do a thing to make it better. He's just waiting around in that area. He thinks his mother's going to die soon, which she probably will. I don't think it'll be too long. So he's waiting. Remember, guys, he never stayed in Florida for long. Just the last couple of years, he'd go there and stay for long periods of time. He would go to New York. He'd be in the Carolinas. He'd be in Virginia, Maryland, Georgia all the time. But he's sticking around that area because he has this belief that when his mom dies, Alex is going to swoop in and take everything. Believe me, I'll bet my life on it. He doesn't care about that woman one bit if she lives or dies. He literally said, if she dies tomorrow, I don't give a fuck. She's nothing to me. And that wasn't to get people to leave her alone, Tony. You have no filter. You say what you mean, and you mean what you say. Okay. So that's all it's about. He wants that fucking money. He wants whatever money there is. And I'm sure there's not a lot. But he wants to take whatever possessions he can take and sell. He wants to be able, maybe he could, you get in there if he has a key and sleep for a few fucking days. You know what I mean? Before the fucking complex figures out what's going on. He's always looking for some sort of come up and never willing to put in the effort to actually, come up, to actually get a come up. He just doesn't. Oh my God. Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Let me see. James Horoff, one Street Smart Politics membership. Thank you, James, very much, brother. And the other thing I say, Soto, because you brought up the sick thing, and I know I've talked about this a bunch, but it's astonishing to me. Every time I see him driving a car, and it sounds like a regular car. In other words, if I get in my car today, it's a 2025, and I drive it, it's going to sound like a regular car. Okay, it's not going to sound like a clunker. It's not going to sound beat up. It's not going to have valves tapping. It's not going to have all that shit. You know what I mean? It's not going to be squeaking from the fucking what do you call it, belt? It's none of that shit. And Tony's shit sounds the same way. Like we've seen times where his car's making all kinds of noise when the engine got or the transmission got all fucked up that time, stuff like that. But my point is, you'd be hard pressed to find a car anywhere in 2026 for less than $5,000 at least that's going to last you any decent amount of time. Regular people, we buy cars like that. We leave the lot. We bought it as is, and the fucking, head gasket blows. Tony, every car he gets him wherever he wants to go, and it runs as long as he wants it to run until he's just ready to get a new one anyway. It's incredible. His luck is... He doesn't realize, I talked about this like a week ago. He doesn't realize he has that luck. He's miserable. If he ever, like, you know what I said today, man? I swear to God, this is the way I think. When we got the first food delivery today, before we realized the second one was coming, I thought to myself, wow, look how lucky we are, because there's people today that they can't even figure out how to put food on the table. Like we're able to order $360 worth of groceries. That's the thing I'm grateful for. And that's, I don't want to use the word blessing, but you know what I mean? Even that stuff, no matter how much I have or how much I get, throughout my lifetime, I'll always be grateful for every single thing I have. I always talk, to myself about how grateful I am for my car, for everything. Cause I've gone without all this shit at times in my life. But Tony, he's too miserable and fucking angry, and he has the mentality that the world's out to get him. I don't have that mentality. If you're out to get me, I know you're out to get me. That's it. The world, no. Tony has that mentality. Therefore, he can't see the luck he has. He's too fucking busy complaining about what a victim he is. And all of it's his fault. But he can't ever take responsibility. So how the fuck is he going to be grateful for the cars he's had, for the money that gets handed to him, when he's spending all fucking day talking about black people and gay people and cursing people out and going after people's families? He's too fucking miserable to see that he's lucky. Too fucking miserable. Not just lucky, extraordinarily lucky. For somebody in his position, he can't have much more than he has. Seriously. I'm driving, but listening. If you notice, people that do cocaine never get sick. That's Tony Pizza. That's possible. I don't know if they never get sick or if they're just so high on cocaine they don't realize they're sick. I would tell you, about my years on cocaine, but I don't remember them. So I don't know if I got sick or not. I know that one day I woke up with my head stuck to a pillow because I took so much Xanax and I did so much cocaine and liquor that I guess my nose started gushing blood while I was sleeping, and I slept for a couple of days. So it was one of the scariest things that ever happened to me. I had to peel my face off the fucking pillow and go straight to urgent care. And they were like, yeah, you got the beginning stages of a sinus infection. I said, what? I just dropped like a gallon of fucking blood on my pillow. What are you talking about? It's just starting. The sinus infection. What the fuck? Oh God, I hope it doesn't get worse than this. Hey, he has a wagon. Yeah, well, all his possessions could fit in a wagon. Remember when he used to do that? There was a couple of years there where he didn't have a car because he didn't have a license, or he had some unpaid tickets he had to pay in order for, to get his license back, something like that. And he would go from place to place with a wagon. He would fill up his wagon and he would get on a train and he'd go to, one of the Carolinas or something. And then he would just take trains randomly to different parts of those states. He had a red Radio Flyer wagon, like a fucking child has, A child from, the fucking 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s. Red radio flyer wagon. Yep. That's how much I remember when he was in that apartment. And, I predicted right away, well, it's only temporary. He'll be kicked out pretty soon. It's not going to last long. And I said, when he got the TV, so Dixie bought him a bunch of stuff that he just broke and threw away because he's an ungrateful fuck. People paid for his Wi-Fi, the kennel for Leon. He had stuff. He had a bunch of stuff people bought him. He had like a carpet shampooer, all this shit. And I don't care what he says. I remember when it happened. Unless somebody wants to correct me. When he left that apartment, he took none of it. And he don't care. It's not a loss to him. If you sent him a futon, Muggsy, or if you bought him a dog kennel, or if you fucking bought him a carpet shampoo or paid for his Wi-Fi, he don't give a fuck. He's not losing anything. He didn't do anything to get it. So he doesn't care. He doesn't care. It's unbelievable. So, I don't know, man. But that's why when people were buying him shit, I'm like, what are you thinking? Why would you buy this guy any fuck? First of all, this guy wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. He doesn't even love his own mother. You think he likes you? You fucking simp. Why would you send him anything? But then on top of that, it's like, what did you expect that was going to happen to whatever you sent him? You thought that he was just going, when he got kicked out, he's just going to travel the country with that shit? It'll wind up in a dumpster or something. Now, he gave this story the other day about his mother. He brought this TV to his mother's, and his mother's was like astonished by this gift of a TV, which you said your mother's rich, bro. But the other day you talked about her like as if you handed her a fucking 12-carat diamond ring and a fucking Rolls-Royce Phantom. He went on and on about how his mother just appreciated this TV so much. It's like a fucking $100 40-inch fucking TV. What the fuck is he talking about? But I don't believe that. I don't believe that he took any of that shit from his apartment. I don't. And we have no reason to. Oddly enough, though, what's crazy is 5 years ago, Tom LaVecchia bought him a laptop, a piece of shit, like maybe a $200 Chromebook, some shit like that. He still has it. That's the only thing I've seen him, other than his Batman and Kiss shirts. That's the only possession I've seen him keep throughout this 5 years. That's it. Unreal. He's definitely escaped major health issues. I bet he's sick a lot and probably has ongoing issues. They're just minor things or things he can hide on camera. Maybe. Oh, guys, I forgot. I got to shout somebody out because I didn't do a Mobtube show yesterday because I did like 5 or 6 hours of politics. And Shanna was off last night. So, well, she's off today. So last night, we hung out and watched movies and shit. What did we watch? We watched a movie called... I have no idea. I don't even remember. I couldn't even tell you what the fuck. What did we watch? Oh, Carolina, the movie was called. It was pretty good. It's like a Bonnie and Clyde type of story. It's new. I think it's 2026. Anyway, my man, hold on. I got $99, which is a rare type of donation from Josie. And he said, pizza, I'm not Candela, you blowjob. Yeah, he's not. Josie is not Candela. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I understand why Tony is suspicious. It's Josie, you know what I mean? And around the same time, Joe Candela, comes on the show. But, I told you, Joe Candela hasn't given me shit in years. I don't expect a fucking dime from him. But thank you, Joe C, for the $99. That put a big smile on my face. I woke up to that shit yesterday. So that's great. I did get that. And I got $10 in cash from Dana on my politics show. But other than that, I just don't get cash. It's a problem I have to work out. Pizza is full of himself. Oh, Mooch is here. All right, let me restart the show, guys. Hang on.
pizza run.
Run, pizza, run.
I'm just fucking around. Rolls Royce Fathom. Oh, yeah. Because if the word's Fathom, he'd say Phantom. If the word's Phantom, he'd say Fathom. Yep, you're right. You're right, Joey D. But when you say Troll Slayer, he's full of himself. He's a narcissist. It's amazing. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago. It was within the last couple months or something. For a few days, he was just talking like every single thing that happened was. I think it was in the last week or two. You guys remember? I don't know if it was because of me being in Florida. I forget what he was talking about exactly, but he was talking about shit that like went on in this chat and all kinds of different stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with him. But he figured out a way to make it about him. That's why I told you guys, the only thing that will drive Tony Pizza out of his fucking mind, it doesn't matter if SoFlo stops talking to him and no Mobtube content creator ever mentions his name again. He don't give a fuck. Soon as I go a reasonable amount of time without talking about him, he will lose his shit. He needs my attention, specifically, just mine. You know, but he's so sick that if I do anything, he'll figure out a way to make it about him. You know what I mean? Like when I get donations, he all of a sudden turns it into a competition, stuff like that. There's only one other guy I know that's this sick when it comes to, and they're all friends. You know who I'm talking about. There's 3 men that are this obsessed with me and this sick in the fucking head, and they're all friends. They're all friends. They're all outcasts from Mobtube, and they're all friends. Yeah, Pat, I was thinking about you yesterday, bro. How are you? Are you okay? I haven't seen you in a while. How dare you not come around? What else, guys? What else? I was going to talk a little bit about A-Light today, but I don't know if you guys are interested. I know that Dominic continues to, I believe it or not, I like talking about this other stuff more than pizza, but I don't know if you're interested or not, but I haven't been watching Dominic. I haven't watched his show in like a week and a half, but I've been seeing shorts. He's doing really good. Let me tell you something. Dominic, I think Dominic has a producer or something, because if you notice, every show recently got an awesome thumbnail. You know, Dominic didn't make that. It's got a fucking awesome title that's like, that makes you want to watch. And it's always a good subject, even if it's the same subject 3 days in a row, it's something interesting. He's doing a great that's what a YouTube channel is supposed to be like. He's doing great. What is this? How you doing, FBS? Happy Friday. Sorry, I can't ever not call you FBS. Oh, yeah, I know. That's why I just let it slide now. People in the politics shit call me FBS. I don't care. Good. Well, I hope it's not too bad, brother. Just got here. How you doing? Did that pizza get struck again? It appears that he did, Joe, but you never know. Sometimes he gets suspicious. Like just me saying the other day, pizza, I got something coming for you. That's enough for him to wipe out his channel. Anyway, the A-Light thing, Dominic is really talking shit about him more and more, and even Gene to some extent. And I think I got to be honest with you. Yeah, Soto, right? He's not bad on Dominic's show, correct? I mean, by himself, he's another one. Gene Borello has got the biggest ego. He's the biggest narcissist I've ever seen in my life. But Dominic, I told you, Dominic, it's like they're in the streets. Like Dominic's a captain and he's his, associate, because Gene doesn't get all braggadocious as much. There's not all that bravado. I mean, Dominic talks down to him like he's his puppy and shit, and he's calm. He's chill on Dominic's show. That's why I said like a week ago, it's actually a very good show now. I used to fall asleep listening to Dominic, but when they have these different characters on, I could do without J.R. Rubio and this Dan Herman guy. I don't even know why he's alive. I don't know what he's the most, what's the word I'm looking for? The dullest person I've ever seen. I remember when he was trying to diss Joey Molino and he did a short, and I got secondhand embarrassment from how terrible his little roast was. But anyway, I like the guy Barone because he's a chill guy, Gene is chill on that show. It's the only time you can really. I don't like Soto saying. I think he's just tolerable on that show. But anyway, they've been talking a lot about A-Light, and it's interesting to hear because it goes to show you with these guys. And I got to say this honestly, listen, I'll be your best friend in the world until you betray me or you're disloyal. And then it'll be like I never knew you. You know what I mean? But these guys, they're all such opportunists. You know what I mean? And they're all about their businesses and their money. And if one of them makes the rest of them look bad, he's gone. Like they never knew him. Seriously, that's what it's getting to. It's getting to the point where I think Dominic's just going to be like, John who? Because every day he separates himself more and more and he talks a little more shit about John. So it's like, that's all it took. John got caught. Dominic, listen, you heard Dominic talked about how he got some calls that because of what Jeff Nadeau has said on the internet, he can't get, he lost out on business deals. Who knows if that's true? But yeah, being Dominic Cicali, it probably is a little difficult, because he's not like Joey in a restaurant where people can come meet him and say he's in businesses like real estate and shit. It probably is easy to lose opportunities. People are going to be scared to deal with a guy who is obviously a lifelong crook, when it comes to money. What was I going to say? Oh, but so like when Gene gets busted, and I was already thinking it, and Dominic said it. Dominic said, I'm so pissed off at him because now it's hard enough for us. People look at us a certain way and we try to prove we changed our lives. And then somebody like John goes and proves that he's the same guy he always was. It makes us all look bad. It's like, it's all it took, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to lose opportunities because of John. Fuck our friendship. That's basically what it is. That's it. He's got a young tech kid helping him. Bro, I need a young tech kid helping me. That fucking channel looks great, man. Every time I see that a show is scheduled or something, it's impressive. The thumbnail, the title. I told you guys, man, that's one thing you can't say I'm not genuine. I'll give anybody props, whether I like him, dislike him. I've done it with Angel. Angel got her channel looking great too. I mean, made major improvements. That's why I kind of feel like a dick for even talking about her promoting her shit because so what? I mean, if YouTube says, okay, we'll get you subs, we'll get you to where you want to go. Fuck it. Who cares? If I do that Mackenzie channel, the true crime shit, which I plan on doing eventually, I'm going to do that shit. I said, fuck it. Who cares? I'm just going to promote the videos, because they appeal to a huge audience. Mobtube doesn't. Who cares? I mean, what the fuck at this point, So, but if she got her channel looking good, and I'm always on and off pissed off at Angel, but if you got the shit, if you're doing a good job, you're doing a good job. And the only people that'll say you're not are fucking haters. You know what I mean? Dom keeps him under control. Yes. He's like and I'm not even trying to diss him. Like it might sound like I am, but he's like an obedient child. You know what I mean? Like he's real calm, soft spoken. Every now and then he gets loud and he gets going. But he's just chilling. And Dominic will tell him, like, you're fucking up, Gene. He'll be like, I know. This is so funny sometimes. He talks to him like, see, Gene, this is why we got to straighten you out. And you got to get on medicine and all this kind of shit. It's like, what the fuck? And straighten out doesn't mean make him. He means get his shit together. They need to get, help him get his shit together or something. Have you listened to the Tommy Karate tapes? He does it with his daughter. Like a week ago, I listened to what was on there. It was maybe 6 videos. I don't know if I saw that she was going to put more on there, but if she did, I didn't hear those. I heard the one about Jimmy, but it was really basically like 30, 40 seconds about him. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think he is into publishing. Oh, is he? Okay. All right. I never thought he would be on YouTube. Oh, wait, which one? Who are you talking about? It's so funny. He doesn't talk about the crypto coin that he made hundreds of thousands. Oh, no. Hashtag rug pull. Bro, I noticed that. You know what I mean? It's just, and I'm sorry, he can attack me, he can do whatever he wants. You know me, I don't give a fuck who attacks me. I don't know that was a rug pull. Let me make that clear. But in my opinion, it's just their nature. And when I say I mean anybody who is ever really like a career criminal, anyone. You know what I mean? That's why I told you guys. If I disappear and you Google my name and it says arrested for, selling cocaine, you should not be fucking surprised. You should be like, well, that's what he knows. That's what he's going to do. I'm not, but you'd be crazy to be shocked that I'm doing the same thing I've done my whole life. Same thing with Dom. Dom knows. I've seen that chat. They worship him the way Joey's fans worship him. And yeah, I mean, he absolutely, in my opinion, scammed the living shit out of them. And he doesn't say a word because you don't want to. You don't want to bring attention to it. It's like, let's just forget that crypto thing ever happened. I made 2-3 million. You know what I mean? Let's put that aside. Talk about some other shit. I would do the same thing. If I pulled off some scam and robbed a bunch of people who I see every day in a chat, I'd never mention this shit again. You know what I mean? It's not me to do that. Try to get your minds off of that. The people who lost money, get their minds off of that as quickly as possible. It's never bring it up again. It's like a murder. We don't discuss murders. That's what the mob says. I heard Angel cracked 100K. That's awesome. Listen, I got no hate. She did the promotion thing. Fuck it. I mean, quite honestly, listen, guys, like I said, none of you could say I'm not genuine. When it comes to me, I just, I want things to be, I'm OCD. I want things to be done the right way. I don't believe in cheating, especially in something like this. To me, don't get me wrong. I never thought I'd grow some huge channel and be any, significant YouTuber, but I wanted my subscribers to come from me. You know what I mean? Like what I'm doing. I didn't want to buy any. I didn't even want to do what Angel was doing. Even that looked bad to me. You saw how I kind of went off about that. That's why I told you guys, there was times when I loved having panels, but like now I'd have a panel every now and then with whoever, every now and then. But once you're doing a panel where you got the same people on every night, it's not your show anymore. It's their show too. And I'm the kind of person, I don't make enough to share it. And I'm not going to let you sit there and help me entertain people all night and not give you anything. So I just want to do the shows by myself, And I would watch it with Lee. Sorry, Lee, if you're watching. But Lee got, before he sold that, well, I can't say right before he sold it to James, but before he got up to 8,000 subs, I'd say, he always had a co-host almost the entire time. He had Kane Shades, he had Danny Trio, and he had James Proctor. And I'm not trying to be a dick here, but I know that James, did the research on those mob stories, and he was the working guy in that situation. Lee, it was just his channel. I don't respect that. I don't like it because it's like, how can I sit here and say, oh, I gained X amount of subscribers when I have another person sitting next to me who does the majority of the show or some shit. You know what I mean? So, but now I look at it differently. It's like, who gives a fuck anymore? If Angel, I think had a situation where if she hit 100,000 subs, some doors were going to open for her. She was going to get more opportunities, more interviews, stuff like that. So fuck it. Who cares? You get where you got to go by any means necessary. Who gives a fuck? I don't care about any of that shit no more. I don't. The only thing is, it does fuck up your channel a little bit. It does. But do what you got to do. I think Angel is having Tommy's daughter as a guest if it didn't happen already. Oh, that'd be cool. I would watch that. I could see that happening, definitely. Oh, yeah. No, me neither, man. Me neither. It's crazy to hear from him. I mean, he was a butcher. I'll always think about the Phyllis Birdie story when I think about him. He decapitated the bitch, cut her up in a fucking bathtub. I mean, unbelievable. Like, he was a fucking monster. Tommy Karate was a monster. And let me tell you something, guys. That's another reason I'm already turned off by this whole Tommy Karate and his daughter thing. Because I heard her talking a couple of times, and I could already see it's going to be the same shit my father's a wonderful man. You know, he did nothing wrong. It's going to be Angel. Sorry, Angel, all over again, you know, and all the mobster apologists. You know, it's going to be that horse shit with this guy and a bunch of simps. Like somebody came in here the other day, he wanted to be a smartass because I asked for donations. He said, I'd rather give it to Tommy's daughter so it can go to Tommy. Think about that. So I'm just a guy with a family who's doing my thing to entertain you, and you're obviously watching my show. But you'd rather give the money to a fucking serial killer, and you can't call him anything but that because you worship these fucktards. Tommy Karate is a fucking scumbag extraordinaire. There's no way around it. He killed that fucking woman and chopped her up, not to mention all the other murders and every fucking thing else. I know we're supposed to be in this community where we all worship these guys. Listen, if he didn't have an Italian last name and he was just some criminal that did that shit, we would look at him the same way we look at Chris Watts or fucking the son of Sam or fucking who was I just thinking about? That Wade Wilson guy, Terry Time. You know, you just look at him and wow, he killed all those people. What a fucking piece of shit. But if he did it as part of his life in the mafia, that's awesome. Let's fuck. It's cool. Fuck, he murdered him. All right, let's talk. I want to hear from him. Let me give him some money. It's like, what the fuck are you saying? I wouldn't give Tommy Karate 11 cents. I don't give a fuck. I would. None of these guys. It's insane. Wow, I should have sent FBS another $20. Why do you say that? What happened? You know me, I forget things, Soto. Why though? Hey, anybody could send whatever they want. I told you, I'm just not asking anymore. That might hurt me financially. It might destroy me, but it's just the decision I've made. I'm just going to count on you guys to donate when you can. And that's it. But anyway, yeah, these guys, you know how I feel about all this mob shit now. And it's so funny, man, because these douchebags, they'll forever, you know, crucify me for having a picture of John Gotti behind me. Meanwhile, I guarantee you, every single person who fucked with me about that had a picture of John Gotti in their house because I never worshiped these guys. I thought John Gotti was a different type of person to me. So I looked up to him for other things, not just his life in the mob. I thought that the fact that he had cancer and had his jaw cut out and everything else and refused to take a painkiller, he just decided to suffer with the pain. That is strength most people will never, ever, ever possess. That is insane. Stuff like that. There's no doubt John Gotti was I hate to say it this way, but a special type of person. That he's very rare. You ever see that picture of John Gotti when he was a little kid and he's making that mean face? If anybody looked at that picture back then and didn't say, oh, this guy's going to be trouble, then they're fucking crazy. He looks like a monster in the picture when he's a little boy. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing. So John Gotti is one of those people who is meant to be his whole life exactly what he became. Certain people are like that. Michael Jordan, his whole life was meant to be a basketball player. Tiger Woods was meant to be a golfer. Fucking Eminem was meant to be a rapper. There's some people who are so good at what they do that you have to believe that they were put here on earth specifically to do that one thing. They're such masters at it, you know? I don't even know what my point was with that, but, oh yeah, John, you know, he's the kind of guy that was put here, you know, it's not commendable. It's not like being an athlete or anything, but he was put here to be a gangster. No question. So I always had respect for John Gotti, and to some extent I always will. But these guys confuse respect with worship. They still lie and say that I bought a bottle of gray flannel. That never happened. Angel was on my show, and somebody in the chat said, what kind of cologne did your father wear? And she said gray flannel. And I think I said to my wife, wow, I think my dad used to wear that or something. And like a week later, she got me a bottle. She didn't tell me she ordered it. It came through like fucking Amazon or something. And just because I mentioned that on the show, oh, what a dick rider. Oh my God, he's got gray flannel. He wants to be like John Gotti. Guys, I'm a fucking unique individual myself. I don't want to be like nobody but me. Look, I just want to have more money. That's it. Other than that, I'm good with myself. I'm a confident motherfucker. You know, but that mafia shit, from my earliest shows, I would always say these mob guys are not good guys, though. I remember And it had nothing to do with me fighting with Angel. That I always knew they weren't, but that's why I looked up to him when I wasn't a good guy, because it's like, I'm a criminal, but you're the top of the food chain criminal. So yeah, I admire you. You know what I'm saying? To some extent. But I don't know what I was saying, but these guys worship them. They worship them. I was never like that. You know, I remember RJ, the first time he came on my show, I believe. It was him and Nadu, and RJ had a really bad connection. There was a delay. It was a mess. The video's still up. But RJ and Jeff were talking about gangsters in almost a positive way. And I pointed out to RJ, I said, well, RJ, hold on. Think about some things. You know, they extort their own people. They flood their own neighborhoods with drugs and all that. And by the time I was done, RJ was like, wow, you know what? You're right. They are scumbags. Like, they are. Absolutely, they are. There's no question about it. So the only people that look up to them are the people that have been brainwashed since they were little kids, that these guys are good people, and they might be bad guys, but they're our bad guys. But deep down inside, they're really, you know, they're good, great fathers. They're this, they're that, you know. But these guys like MRE, I mean, you'll never see me in an actual picture. I made an AI image a couple of weeks ago because I did a Mob Talk thumbnail. You'll never see a picture of me dressed up like a gangster, except at my communion, and that wasn't my fucking choice. They put me in that gangster suit. My dad. You know, dressing up, playing LARPing like MRE does. You got that picture of him with the scarf and the black leather coat. That's not, his arms ain't even in it. It's just hanging on. The corniest shit I ever saw. And he was the first person to call somebody a mob simp. Like, bro, you play dress up so you could feel like a mobster. Are you fucking kidding me? And, you know, all those guys, I don't care if they had family members in the mob. All those guys are fucking to this day, anybody who's anti-rat is pro-mafia. It's the dumbest shit in the world. How could you be pro-mafia? So anyway, you know, eventually I took that picture down, but I would probably still put a picture of John Gotti up because, listen, it's the person he is. It's not necessarily about the mafia. The guy represents a lot of things a man should be. Now, a lot of things he doesn't. Like, no offense to Angel, but to me, you can't possibly say he was a good father. And the reason for that is he chose a life of crime. You know, I know people that as soon as they find out their girlfriend's pregnant, they quit smoking, they quit drinking, they quit everything, and they keep it that way. They're not risking their health when they have a child on the way, you know? And I did it too. I was a fucking, you know, one thing that made me a bad father is the fact that I think the only thing that you know made it so that you could actually call me a bad father is the fact that, you know, I was risking my life and my freedom every fucking day when I had a child who needed me, you know? So imagine being in the mafia. I mean, you literally take an oath that your mob family is more important than your own family. You actually have to say that you'll leave if you have a sick kid in the hospital, you'll leave his bedside if your boss calls you. That's insane. So don't get me wrong. There's a lot of tough guy shit he represents and all that. But other things, no. You know, not so much. Not so much. I mean, I think he has grandkids that never even saw him unless there was glass between them. So that's just my opinion. I'm not his kid. Angel, if she says he's a good father, in her opinion, he's a good father. It's all that really matters is what the kids think. But that's just me. You know, there's things I respect about him and things I don't. But it took some, you know, healing from the fucking, you know, the drugs and alcohol and some growing a little bit to realize that there's nothing to look up to with these fucking guys. You know what I mean? And you know, their presence here, and I mean just on Earth, is more of a negative than a positive, no matter what. No matter what. You know what I mean? Even if you're like Sammy, they always said was a great father. He's always home in time for dinner, cooked breakfast for the kids in the morning. But he's killing other people's fathers on a regular basis. He killed his wife's brother. I mean, think about that shit. So yeah, as your brain starts to heal from all that nonsense. I had the street mentality my whole fucking life, and the addiction just made it, even stronger, I guess you could say. Once you get off all that shit, you start to relax. You're living in the suburbs, you're away from all that stuff. You realize it. Everything you were doing was wrong too, but you're talking about guys that they have their fucking hands in every type of crime imaginable. Every type of crime imaginable. I mean, they're stealing from you, even if it's indirectly, they're costing you money. God forbid you ever need them for something. You'll end up indebted to them for life, or they'll kill you. I mean, it's just a bad, it's nothing to look up to. The bottom line is, in a lot of ways, John Gotti was the man. Jane made a comment here. I dropped something on my foot so I could limp like him. That I'm convinced that John Gotti is the coolest motherfucker to have ever walked the earth. That I'll say. There's never a time when you see him and you think, he looks doofy there. Whether he's walking into a courthouse, or, the news people are bothering him, or, there's videos of him outside a social club, or he's walking from his car to the social club. He's got that limp actually looks cool as fuck. It's like the suits, it's like, that is a cool motherfucker. There's nobody could look at that dude and not be like, yeah, it would be the shit to be him. In a lot of ways it would. There's that one video where he pulls up on Mulberry Street and he walks into the Ravenite, and it's like, damn, man, he looks like exactly what he is, like a mafia fucking boss. You can't mistake him for anything else. You could be a fucking country bumpkin and you see that guy in the street and think, I have a feeling he has some serious power and he's a dangerous motherfucker. No doubt about it. So that's a lot of the reason people look up to him and shit, but the people that look up to him for his mob life, for the things he did throughout his life, I mean, come on, man. There's certain things these guys did that will always stick out, like Tommy Patera with Phyllis Birdie and stuff, and John Gotti with John Favara. Listen, don't get me wrong, man. I always had mixed feelings about that, because if God forbid my kid got hit by a car and died, I would probably want to kill the person, no matter how unjustified. So it's really hard to judge him on that. But I'm a little different than most people too, and a lot of you guys are also. A normal person who lives a regular life, if their kid gets hit by a car because he was running around on a dirt bike, and he jetted out into traffic, you don't blame the guy that killed him as much as you might want to. And you certainly don't kill the guy. You know what I mean? So listen, my brain is still warped to an extent too, because like I just said, I would probably think the same thing. I'm going to kill him. But normal people don't think that way. Normal people don't. We are not normal. Anybody who's in this community because they have an interest in the mafia is not normal. I'm telling you, anybody. Any fucking buddy, we're all insane. But I don't care. Listen, if you want to say John Gotti's the coolest motherfucker to walk the earth, if you want to say he's the toughest fucking guy you've ever heard of, I'd say, yeah, I'll give you that. But when you start talking about what a good man he was, it's like, come on, man, come the fuck on. What are you, fucking delusional? And it's the Italian thing too. It's like, if as long as he's one of us, if he's Italian, I don't give a fuck if he kills babies in their strollers, but if he's anything else, he's a fucking low-life scumbag killer. It's like, come on, man. I see it. Listen, and I'm not getting political, but in the political shows, it's the same exact thing. Okay. If Trump did something wrong, 10,000 times worse than something like, let's say Biden, there was an entry in Ashley's diary that she later said, my dad never did anything to hurt me. That's all. And they'll call Joe Biden a pedophile till this day. I'll show them 15 different clips where Trump is obviously hitting on children, including his own. And they'll be like, yeah, but come on. That's just, who cares about that? That's nothing. It's like, oh, so if it's your guy, it's all excusable and justified. If it's my guy, then he should be burned at the stake. So it's the same thing with the mafia, It's goofy the way people look up to him. Joey, the more I look at Joey, the more I listen to him, the more I dislike him. And because you got to think to yourself, this guy's actually being worshipped. He's having tons of money thrown at him. People are opening businesses for him. He's making millions upon millions of fucking dollars off the fact that he was a scumbag killer. That's it. When he goes on these interviews, see, people don't know how to handle. I think I'm the greatest debater in the world at this point, honestly, because I have yet to lose one. But if I was interviewing Joey Molino and I said something about the mob and he said, I don't know nothing about no mob, I wouldn't just, okay, and keep going. I would say, well, what are you here for then? If you weren't in the mob and you weren't a gangster and your name is just Joey Molino and you're a guy from South Philly, what are you famous for? Why do you have cheesesteak joints people are coming from all over the country to go to? Why are you on every major podcast in the fucking world? Like, why do you have hundreds of thousands of fans and followers? It's the most ridiculous thing in the world, you know? I don't know anything about the mob stuff. Yeah, you're just a regular guy named Joey. You know what I mean? You got to put people's feet to the fire in interviews like that. You don't just let them get away with it. But I think there's a fear factor and everything, which I think is ridiculous at this point. But even Joey, like I said, there's things that stick out. Some people say if it's a mob murder, hey, the person who got killed knew the rules. They knew what they were in for. That's ridiculous because even if that's the case, murder is wrong, period. Okay? That's number one. Number two, the kids, he has kids. His kids, they might be toddlers. They don't fucking know what he's doing. You know what I mean? They didn't take an oath to anything. Either did his fucking wife. So now you left a whole bunch of victims behind that'll be affected for the rest of their lives. With Joey, it's Billy Veazey. That fucking story always made me sick. And even the other day, I heard him being asked about that. He was asked about John Veazey. And he said, I don't know John. I knew his brother Billy. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks because it's like, wow. I mean, that's the diabolical sickness and evil in Joey Molino. For you to even bring his name up on a podcast like he's just some guy you brush shoulders with a couple of times. You killed that guy for no fucking reason other than to make it look like John Stanfa killed him. Do you know what I mean? The guy didn't do anything wrong. He wasn't even really involved with the life. He just knew guys. He was, associated, connected, whatever. His, the way he killed that dude, I don't know, man. It's crazy to me. So like I said, they all got a murder that sticks out. Greg Scarpa has them, everybody. It's like, even if you're somebody who excuses just mob shit, he kills another maid guy, fine, the guy took an oath, he knew the rules. But when they're killing innocent people, does that even make you think they're bad, or are they still good because they have an Italian last name? Which one is it? Let me read some things. I hope John had a chance to put that sword up his ass again. What the fuck are you talking about? There are no bad children, just bad parents. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm a big believer, too, that children aren't born bad. You know what I mean? Like my daughter, to this day, her best friend is a kid named Michael, right? He lived up the block from us. There was a park. They always played together. They knew each other since they were probably 4 years old. They went to school together. They're inseparable. Michael was such a gentleman as a kid. I remember we used to go to this big hill in this park, and the kids would, what do you call it? Sled. They have their sleds, and they'd go down this huge hill. Sometimes they build ramps at the bottom and shit. My daughter would go down this fucking hill, and Michael would come behind her, grab her sled, and carry it back up the hill for her. You know what I mean? He was just because nobody asked him to. He was just a gentleman. We lived in a semi-rough neighborhood, so my daughter knew there was no walking anywhere by yourself. It made her mad at me sometimes, but that neighborhood, some crazy shit had gone on there with pedophiles and everything else. It was a block outside of York City, and it wasn't great. It was a rough neighborhood. So as she got older, it was just, okay, if you're going somewhere by yourself, you're going with Michael, and Michael's walking you home and all that shit. You know what I mean? As far as walking around this neighborhood, you're going to be with Michael, or you're not, or you're going to be with a group of girls or something. Not walking by yourself. Anyway, what was my fucking point? Oh, when this kid was little, he was a little rowdy. And my daughter would come home from school, first grade, second grade, and say, the teacher yelled at Michael today and she told him he's bad like 5 times. She said, you're a bad kid. You're a bad kid. And that drives me crazy because that's what I heard as a kid. That's what my brother heard as a kid. My dad, as far as the verbal assault, maybe that's the way I am now. My dad would you didn't have to put a hand on you. The shit he would say to you would make you feel this fucking big. He would say stuff he would straight up tell us life was great till you came along. You know what that feels like for a kid to all of a sudden feel like, wow, my dad don't even want me here. You know what I mean? Like, I ruined his life. Like, that's what he's telling me, basically, whether it's true or not. You're fucking 10 years old. It's like, what could I have even done? But that shit does long-term psychological damage. And when you're told you're bad by your parents, you just believe it because they're your parents. They're your heroes. They're the people that feed and clothe you. They're the people that keep a roof over your head. They're the people that are supposed to teach you and you're supposed to learn from. So when they tell you you're bad, you're going to become bad. So anytime Michael would come over, I would tell him, you know what that teacher said to you? You're not a bad kid. You're a great kid. We just all do stupid shit sometimes. That's it. You know what I mean? And he turned out to, the kid's like 20, 25 now. He owns his own business. He's doing great in life. So that's good. But I don't like that shit, man. When you tell kids they're bad, it's like okay, now they're going to be bad. Watch, you're doing this to them now. You're teaching them that all they can be is bad. So they're never going to believe they can do well. They're never going to believe they can be good, So, bro, when you said Gotti smacked the wife of the on the left, on the ass and left was funny. Gotti smacked the. When was that, S. Frank? What were we talking about? What was that about? I don't remember. Was that the last conversation we had about this? My grandparents were 2 of the best people in the world. My dad was a total asshole, Pat. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, deep down inside, I don't talk to him. I haven't seen him in years. But I don't think of my dad the same way. I don't hate him. I don't despise him like I used to. When I was a kid, him leaving was the greatest gift he could have given us. I mean, my house was a fucking war zone. I used to hide in the closet as a kid because of them screaming. My dad especially, breaking things, putting his fist through walls, shattering picture frames, everything he could break in the fucking house. I was terrified. When I got in trouble in school, I'd come home terrified. Because I knew when my dad got home, I was dead. It was fucking. Listen, don't get me wrong. Compared to a lot of kids that lived a tough life, I didn't. Listen, it was verbal abuse. There's kids that get all kinds of shit done to them, but it still ain't good. You know what I mean? And the shit, my brother fucking till this day, he has a scar on his head from where my dad grabbed his head and bashed it into the corner of a china cabinet, a sharp wooden corner. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. So I don't know. I raise my daughter. Anything she wants to be in life, she can be. No matter what she said. If you want to be that, you can be that. And there was 2 specific things. I'm not going to get into it. That she wanted to be from a little kid. And she became those 2 things. To this day, those 2 things she wanted to do as a profession is exactly what she does as a profession now. You know what I mean? So it's pretty cool. Even weirder is that the anti-rat pro-mafia crowd are also right-wing government bootlickers. LOL. I know. How the hell can you be pro-mafia and a government bootlicker? Yeah, they worship authoritarians. Shit, they're fucking the stupidest fucking people. It doesn't make any sense. It's like, hold on, you worship the government. You tell people, obey the police. No matter what the fuck they do or say to you, obey. You know what I mean? They'll telling you got to follow the rules. You got to follow every law. And then it's like, well, man, the fucking mafia is awesome. It's So confused, those people. Let's not overreact. What good family man hasn't had to whack a dozen people or so? Murder? What murder? What murder? Yeah, you're right. We've all killed a few. Joey, did you ever have a job, and what did you do? I don't know what's going on, S. Frank. You got me all kinds of confused right now. Gangster, I work in cheesesteaks and sanitation. Yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket. I remember that. What was that guy's name on Saturday Night Live? Yeah, that's what he said. I'm a cheesesteak guy on PBD. I don't know nothing about no mob. I'm just a cheesesteak guy. But at the same time, and this is why I do believe the mob does not like what's going on. Okay, because as ridiculous as it is for Joey to go on these podcasts and say I was never in the mafia, I'm just this awesome guy. That's ridiculous, but okay, fine. Anything you say is you're trying to make it clear. I don't know anything about the mob. I was never in the mafia. I don't know anything about it. Then you go on Fat Joe's podcast, and Fat Joe literally says to Joey Merlino, you remind us of John Gotti. You're like the John Gotti of Philadelphia. And Joey just shook his head and nodded and laughed and in agreement. It's like, wait a minute. You were never in the mob. You don't know anything about the mob. You were never a gangster, but you agree that you were Philadelphia's John Gotti. Makes a lot of fucking sense. What would make you that you're a good dresser? What are you saying? So he does admit that he was in the mafia. He just does it on the low. You know what I mean? Some people might not catch it. Like I could play you the clip right now. Fat Joe specifically spoke about Joey Merlino being a gangster, and Joey just went along with it. He didn't say a word about not being, not a fucking word. And there was one part that was crazy because Fat Joe was like something about having beef with a guy like you, and you hit motherfuckers with bats, and talking about the kind of shit a gangster does to people. And Jada Kiss looked at Joey Merlino and said, "Excuse him," with a straight face, because he knew that's his co-host. Fat Joe was going over the line. Like he was literally, there were certain things he brought up that I think really happened. You know what I mean? And Jada was like, oh my God. Fat Joe has no filter. So he's like, you're sitting here and saying this shit to Joey Merlino right now. It's a fucking podcast everybody's going to see, gets millions of listens and views. So at the same time, Joey will admit that he's a gang. He just won't say the words. So it's like, listen, I don't know what the fuck is left of the mafia today. I know one active guy I used to talk to in the beginning of this thing regularly, Genovese guy. And, we talk on the phone all the time. And he told me some stuff. He told me, straight up, Chris, don't ever let somebody tell you this life is dead. It's not dead. It's not what it used to be, but it's not dead. But listen, he didn't get into details. Obviously, we're on the phone. I don't know. And I don't want to know, by the way. I don't want to know about anything, He made it clear, though, that it wasn't dead. It's just not what it used to be. But he said there's still a lot of serious shit going on. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's left of it. I certainly wasn't going to ask anybody I've spoken to about it. But still, some of the old timers, whoever's left, at least the old timers have to be like, they have to hate this. They have to want to kill Joey. There's no question about it. But then you see Mikey Mancuso. Mikey knows this motherfucker. And yes, I just called him that. Took a selfie. Did you guys see this? The boss of the Bonanno family took a fucking selfie and posted it online. How many of you guys saw this? How many of you guys saw this? I just want to see, because it's one of the craziest things I ever saw in my life. And I think Dominic brought it up, and Jeff Nadeau did too. And they're 100% right. That is one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. An active boss taking selfies and posting them online. So that makes you think, well, who knows? Maybe Maybe they're not bothered by Joey doing this goofy shit. They're starting to do it too. Oh, you didn't see it, War? Oh my God. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull this up, guys. Hold on. Let me just put this in here. Let me see. I don't know how to search for it. I just put Michael Mancuso selfie. I don't see it on here. But I've seen it. He's in like a black jacket. He's holding his phone. I think he takes like a selfie in a mirror. Let me put it this way. What the fuck, man? Maybe he got it taken down somehow. Maybe it's gone. It's not popping up in Google Images. But I swear to you guys, I know some of you saw it. It looked like a bathroom selfie. It was ridiculous. I know. I think Dominic showed it. I know Jeff Nadeau, I'm pretty sure, showed it. Oh, it had an extra A in there. Maybe. No, I don't see it. I don't know. That's fucking weird. Anyway, yeah, it's absurd. Let me read some comments to get caught up. I tried watching Molino and found it as interesting as watching paint dry. Why would I want to listen to a mobster if they aren't going to talk about the mob? I couldn't care less about his opinions. I know, but I think the same thing every time I see one of these boring podcasts. Like the Vlad one was like Xanax, that fucking interview, just put you to sleep. But he's such this like larger than life character now. This guy went from really only being known by people that at least even, mob novices, but people that have an interest in the mafia, to being famous. I mean, the guy is famous. There's no question about it. I can't even go on Facebook or Instagram without seeing him, or YouTube. I can't. He's every fucking where. He's involved in so many things. You got to remember, people like PBD, they have millions of people that watch. So people that never knew anything about the mob, never knew Joey Molino existed, they now know a lot of shit about him. It's crazy. It's fucking, he actually became the guy's, he's going to get to A. I don't know if he'll get to A, maybe like Tony Pizza said, a B, what did he say? I'm a B fucking celebrity or something. Is that what he said? B, C level celebrity, something, but it's absurd for a mob boss. The child abuse we had to put up as children, whether mental or physical, would have got them arrested today. Oh my God. Yeah. No doubt. The only thing like, shit could have still happened back then if it was bad enough. I remember my dad made my brother go to school the next day and say that he fell playing, I forget what it was, football or stickball or some shit like that. But he forced them, it was like, but yeah, today, oh my God, you get 10 years for that shit. The worst part was the relative. And if it's just verbal abuse, they'll take the kids from you. The worst part was the relatives who stood by and let it happen. Yeah. Well, that's why when these guys say that, Tony Peets likes to say my dad left my mom for a younger woman. He didn't. One thing I know about that situation is he didn't even meet her until years and years and years after my parents separated. But it wasn't that. My mom was determined to protect me from him. My brother was already older and out of the house at this point, and she just said, it's not happening anymore. I'm not going to have him saying this shit to you. I'm not going to have you seeing all this crazy shit. And she forced him out, So that's why I say, my mom was always my best friend, because as a kid, she's the only protector I had in my life. You know what I mean? She's the only protector I had in my life. And she made it so that all that chaos ended, you know? And don't get me wrong, though. The effect of that was that, like, you know how Jimmy Calandra, I always relate to him when he says, once I realized I was a bigger force than my mother, nobody could stop me. Well, that's the one problem of my dad leaving. It's like, oh, I could do whatever the fuck I want now. Whatever I want. There's nobody that I'm worried about punishing me in any way, shape, or form, you know? But still, it was like, oh my God. It was one of the greatest days of my life when he left, you know? But like I said, today, if I ran into him somewhere, shake his hand, give him a hug, I'm not, I don't hold grudges, not anymore. There's things about him that were good, but that's why I am the way I am with my mom. Like I said a minute ago, I mean, my whole life, it was just me and her, basically. My brother was older. He was never around. When I was a kid, my brother was locked up everywhere you can fucking imagine. He was locked up in Spofford. He was in fucking Nassau County jail for a while. He was in fucking jail here. He was in Schuylkill County jail. He was in state prison in Texas. I didn't even know him. I didn't really know my brother till I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? So, it was just me and her always, Remember you used to do John Gotti's voice leaving the house and smacking the wife on the ass and kissing her. Oh, yes. Yeah, because I used to talk about how he was never really home. Yeah. He'd come home at 3 a.m. and just on the way out, peace. That's funny. I can't believe you remember that. Wow. I don't even remember shit like that. What about Tulsa King, Wesley Jr.? Do what you love and you will never work a day in your life. Raise your children and encourage their dreams. Yes. Yes. And even, these guys think things go completely the opposite of the way they go. But even when I spoke to my daughter's ex, really had a conversation with her about the sofa, my daughter's mom, I'm sorry, my ex, a while back, even she said, I know you were a fantastic father. Like, there's no question about it. You know what I mean? So, I guess some random guy in Philly had rumors spread around that he's a mob boss, and it just blew up to the point where everyone believes it. I don't know why everyone is saying that. Seems legit. Oh, yeah. No, I got what you're saying. Yeah. Because, yeah. I was lost for a second, but yeah, as far as why Joey's famous, yeah, it was just a rumor. It just blew up. Yep. Goes to show how the mob has evolved. Yeah. How many of you guys saw that, the Mikey Mancuso thing? You guys saw it, right? Don't make me look like I'm crazy. I know some of you saw that shit. B-list, that's what it is. I said level list. Joey Molino is definitely at least a B-list fucking celebrity. There was still a mob and Tony Pizza. There is still a mob and Tony Pizza is boss. Yeah. Sure he is. My mother had 5 kids before 22 years old. She couldn't protect herself. Wow, Pat, that's crazy. Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? And then you as a kid, your parents protect you from stuff. Like, my mom never told me shit about him that went on between them, But as I got older, as a matter of fact, just about 2 years ago, after my mom got that news, which was about 3 years ago now, but about 2 years ago, I told you guys I had already started, after she got that news, right away recording conversations with her. And I would pull out photo albums, because she has photo albums going back into the 60s. You know what I mean? Where there's a lot of people in those pictures. It's just a bunch of Gindaloons standing around. I don't know. I know my godfather, Tony LaManna. I know certain people like that. My Uncle Joey, my Uncle Ray, some of my aunts and shit, but there's people I don't know, so I wanted my mom to go through it with me and tell me who the people were. But there was times where we would get into a deep conversation and she would start to tell me some of the things that went on, some of the things he did to her. And, oh my God, the anger is unbelievable, unbelievable. When the old man bounces, the first thing that goes with him is the curfew. The rules in general, in my case, my mom was a wonderful mom. She was. But the only thing about her that you could say was maybe a bad mom type of thing. I think every parent has some things that, no matter how good they are, there's some things that make them bad in certain ways. My mom was always concerned with my happiness. Okay. I think more so, I think parents like that, I'm not saying my mom didn't always worry about my well-being, but I think when somebody's worried about your happiness, they will, maybe, I don't know how to put it, but they won't keep you from things that are bad for you and your well-being because they just want to see you happy, meaning they just want to let you do whatever you want, and that's kind of what it was with my mom. I was uncontrollable. I was a maniac. You guys saw the pictures. I would sit in my room with a fucking small arsenal around me. I was 16, 17. I had sawed-off shotguns, 9mm, little 22s, everything you could fucking imagine. And, I can't say she didn't know about a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? She found my first gun when I was 14 in my room. But drugs, I mean, one night I told you guys a story where I sold somebody a QP, this guy Bobby. Well, he must have took the QB to somebody he had waiting. Nobody's supposed to ever come to your house. You know what I mean? But Bobby was a friend. He's certainly never supposed to bring anybody with him. He came, and he bought a QP. I did not know he was buying this for somebody else that he had waiting down the street on the corner. I did not know that. Okay. Well, later he must have beat the guy. He must have taken like a half ounce or an ounce out of it before he gave it to him. Right. So now the guy saw where he went. So he comes to my fucking house and he's pounding on the door. So I had a little 22 in my pocket and I had the 12 gauge sawed off Mossberg pump with the pistol grip and the like the riot style 12 gauge, the holes in the fucking barrel, all that shit around it, And I brought that downstairs with me and I didn't know who this was. So I opened the fucking door and it was some guy screaming at me about how I just sold him, I think it was 3 ounces as a QP or something. And I'm not even willing to have the conversation with him because I'm not going to tell him I sold anybody any fucking thing. I don't know if the guy's a cop. I don't know what's going on. But the guy started screaming and his last words were, "I'll be back." Guys, I know none of you want to believe this stuff about me. I was a fucking madman. My mom even talked about it when she was on this show. So as soon as he said that, I was like, I'm very careful with, I don't know. Like if I can't be here all the time and you say you're coming back, you might not find me. You might just find my mom, So I went crazy and I shot his car. And I wasn't trying to shoot him. But I shot his car a couple of times. I shot in the air a couple of times. And he took the fuck off. He disappeared. And of course, I never saw him again. I think, he changed his mind after that. But that night, I was terrified. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit. We were living in the suburbs at the time. Like people heard these shots. So I had 10 pounds in the basement in a cubby hole, 10 pounds of weed. So I had to pack up guns and 10 pounds of weed. And me and my mom literally took off and went to Wildwood for like a week. Because I didn't know, just to lay low. So my mom was a G, she wasn't supposed to be doing that shit, but she was a G, Brooklyn born and raised. And she was like, well, you can't have you going to jail. So let's clean out the house and go away for a while. And that's exactly what we did. I took the weed and guns and dropped them off at a friend's crib. I won't say which friend. But then we took a trip for a while, so yeah, she knew too much and I guess she allowed a lot to go on, but it's what happens. Some parents they just want to be your friend. They just want, and I'm not saying my mom wasn't a good mom. Like she was, I had rules and stuff. I just didn't obey them. And it's like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? Like I got kicked out of fucking school because of, crazy violent shit and stuff and fighting and shit. It was like, I guess parents start to realize, well, I can't control them. So let me just do my best to make him happy and protect him. I don't know what it is, But when my daughter, I try to do the opposite of a lot that I learned, at least from my dad. I always promise myself I will never be like him. I will be the opposite of him no matter what. And that's why, if my daughter said, I want to be a cat when I grow up, and she said that once, I said, you'll be the greatest cat in the world. As ridiculous as that is, I just never, ever, ever wanted to crush any of her dreams. I never wanted to make her feel like there was something she can't do in life. So I encouraged everything that was good, everything that was positive. My dad was, I remember when I wanted to be a DJ since I was a little boy. My in Queens, my brother had a little rack system in his bedroom with the little turntable on top, the little record player, I should say, more so than turntable. I used to listen to Jam Master Jay and shit. I would go up there and fucking, as a little boy, try to scratch on the record player. I was always into it. So when I was like 13, my mom bought me a pair of fucking shit turntables from a fucking yard sale and a little mixer from Radio Shack. And I had a ball. I went out and I bought some records, and I was in my bedroom for the first time. I had 2 turntables and a mixer, and I was trying to scratch and stuff like that. My dad comes in and he goes, "The fuck are you doing?" I said, Dad, I always wanted to be able to do the scratching and stuff like they do in rap music. And he goes, all you're going to do is fuck up the records, Chris. Why would you do that? Because a lot of people don't realize when you scratch, you move the needles in the groove of the record. It's not scratching it this way. It's in the groove. So you're not scratching the record at all. You're just making a scratching sound. That was the first thing he said. And then he said, I said to him, well, like, Dad, I'm not going to hurt the records. I want to learn. I watch videos and stuff because I used to get these DMC when there was competitions. We would go to Upstairs Records on Avenue X, and I would get the DMC tapes and watch and try to learn. And I had a friend named Sean who taught me a lot of stuff. He was a bad motherfucker when it came to turntables and a mixer. So I told my dad, I'm like, well, Dad, this is what I want to do. I want to grow up and I want to be a DJ in clubs and stuff. And he goes, you're crazy. You know how lucky you got to be to end up like one of those guys and really get that opportunity. You're out of your mind. And now on top of that, Chris, you're going to have all this expensive equipment. You're going to be in a club. People are going to spill a drink. Your fucking equipment's ruined. Don't even bother. And it was like, you motherfucker. I never hated him so much as that fucking night. I had that dream since I was a little kid. And you just came in here and told me 1,000 fucking reasons why I'm an idiot for even having the dream and how I can't possibly accomplish it. You motherfucker. You know what I mean? And that's when I decided, no, he's not doing that with this. This I'm going to do. I'm going to become successful at this at some point. And I did, and it stayed that way for 7 years. And I think just because I accomplished it, and that was my main goal, was to prove that I could. Once, I had to give up the DJ business. I had gotten DUIs. I'm going to jail. I'm losing my license. I can't travel anymore. I wasn't that upset because it was like the main thing was getting to that point where I was rocking a club with 800 people in it or some shit. It's on the radio and people are dancing, and and I got to do it, but just the fact that that's what he would do, if I said, I want to be this, he would say, you're fucking crazy. You can't be that. You're going to be a fucking drug addict. Like you're going to be a loser like your brother. You're going to be in jail your whole fucking life. That's what he would tell me. I'd say, wow, man. And, you wind up becoming just that, what he told you you're going to be. So the funny part is, oh, yeah. I read that one, right? The funny part is everyone loved my dad. They don't know him behind closed doors. Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. We'd have events, big Italian family, We had a huge family. We lived in Queens. We would have, for any special occasion, it was our house, we'd have a barbecue. We'd have, all kinds of shit, music. We had a swing set in the backyard on 81st Street. And he would just be this friendly, lovable life of the party. My dad was like me. He was very witty. Well, I'm like him, I should say. He was very witty, very clever. He's a talker. He could sell ice to a fucking igloo. He could sell fire in hell. I'm not kidding. And that's what he did his whole life. He's a very successful salesman his whole life. But it's like you said, nobody would know what goes on. It's just like, I don't know. My mom did the best she could, but she was a child herself. Oh, I got you on that. Yeah. That's like my mom. My mom never wanted bad for me. Never. But once she saw that I was going to bed and there was nothing that was going to stop me, it became less about stopping me and more about just making sure I don't get caught and protecting me. You know what I mean? Protecting me. So, but listen, she was, no matter what, she was a great mother. Just, I'll miss her to the end of time. There's not a single day where I don't think about her. There's not a night where I don't dream about her. She's on my mind 24 hours a day, you know, even though there was bad times and there's some grudges I hold, you know. I found out some things after she passed that really fucked me up mentally. I didn't tell you guys about this stuff, but you know, I don't want to get into what I found out, but she, you know, when she was, you know, I told you she was changing and she was, you know, really, it would be a full-blown attacks on me and Shanna, and especially Shanna, which that's the one thing I wouldn't put up with. So it'd be a lot of fighting in the last couple of years, especially the last 6 months. And she just became a different person. I don't know if it was because, you know, I talked to a doctor about that when she was dying. And he said, well, Chris, you have to understand they don't have proper blood rushing to their head. They're not, you know, to their brain. They're not, their mind is, they don't have their mind like they did if they were healthy. You know, heart failure, everything starts to shut down when you start dying from that. And you know, when they told my mom she was dying, they were right. They were just wrong about the 2 weeks. So anyway, I told you, I don't know what happened to her, man, but there were some very bad moments in this house. She was doing some very, very bad shit to us. I'll never understand why. And it's one of the most heartbreaking points because I'll never know why she did that. I don't know. But you know, I found out, I don't want to get into it, but stuff related to that, you know, I just found out some things like, it's like, wow, man, what the fuck, man? How could you do that to me? You know what I mean? But one thing everybody knows about me is that woman is infallible in my eyes. Perfect. Not a perfect person, but I mean, there's nothing she could do that I wouldn't forgive. Nothing. You know, it was just, she was the only person who could walk all over me if she wanted to, and I wouldn't say a fucking word about it, you know? So in the last couple of years of her life, she was not the hope that I spent my life with. You know, she was a different person completely. Sometimes she was fine. Sometimes she was brutal. And there was times where she started to say shit that brought me right back to my fucking childhood. And I had her right here in the house with me. And it's like, well, she's not going anywhere. So I just have to tolerate this for whatever reason. I don't know why it's happening. I just have to tolerate this shit. And you know, it was not good. But then when she went in the hospital, it's like it all went away. Everything was normal. I don't know. So sweetheart to Shanna. She kept telling Shanna, you take care of yourself, Shanna. You take care of yourself. My mom kept saying that to her, like as if she knew. Like it was almost like I felt like she was telling Shanna, you know, I'm not going to be here to protect his sorry ass anymore. So you look out for him. You know what I mean? You look out for him. And it was just, I don't know, man. She became, in the hospital, she became the mother I always knew her to be. And, you know, seeing the excitement on her face with all of us being there, me and my best friend, Tim, and his family, and my daughter and her mom, and me and Shanna and Braden and my brother and his family, my nephew, all, you know, that day that she looked up at me in the hospital, I was standing right in front of the hospital bed. Everybody else was around it. And she looked at me. My brother said he'll never forget this moment either. He told me about 3 days after it happened, you know, that he noticed it. I didn't know if anybody else noticed it, but she just like shrugged her shoulders, like in a sweet way, you know, and she just looked at me and smiled and said, I'm so happy everyone's here, you know, and it's, I'm going to stop. Give me 1 second, guys. All right, change the subject. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. Change the subject. Let me blow up my chat because something happened and it got real small. I can't even see your comments. Okay. The best part is what I said. What I said went. In hindsight, I might not have turned out like I did if he stayed. Yeah, me too, bro. Same thing. I know. And you spend a lot of your life wondering how things would have been, you know? Those guns were the shit. Yeah, there was one thing anybody could tell you. Cam could tell you. Anybody who was around me back then could tell you that I don't know how, but one thing I always attracted was, you know, to me was like, you know, I was a magnet for like bad guys, you know, like, and I don't mean that somebody will try to turn that into something gay. You know what I'm saying? Like somehow I could be in a circle of friends that would wind up in a room with a bunch of very bad older people, gangsters, you know, not gangsters, I wouldn't say, because I never consider guys in the hood gangsters. They might call themselves that, but I mean that type of person, guys that were killers, the guys that, you know, had arsenals in their fucking houses, guys that sold, you know, massive amounts of fucking weed and cocaine and crack and everything else. And it would be me they took to. So I always had a circle of older guys around me and I could get any fucking thing. So I would have guns all the time. I'd have a bedroom full of guns when I was just a kid. And I would sell them sometimes and make a profit off of them. I had that German AK, that SKS Porter. I'm not even going to tell you where that went. But I think something bad happened with that eventually. Not from me, but from somebody else who bought it from me. I had a lot of shit going on, you know. So I was never without a connect for any drug I wanted. I was never without a connect. I could get a gun in a fucking, at the drop of a dime in a heartbeat. It was just, you know, I don't know what the fuck happened, you know, but even if you knew, like if I could tell you about, you know how I always say I had 2 crews of friends? I can't tell you about the other side, but these guys were, you know, they're very dangerous and they were very, very brutal, you know, as far as violence and stuff. And, you know, if I could tell you about those guys and some of their outcomes and where they are now and shit, you would be really shocked because, you know, a lot of the guys you met on camera, I'm not saying none of them are dangerous. They definitely can be. And they, you know, they're street guys, but they're a lot different than the other crew. A lot different, you know. The other crew, you never saw a smile on their face. They're very serious people, you know. And I don't know how I wound up around these people. My mom used to even say it. How the fuck did you wind up meeting these people? It's like, I don't know. You know, if Jamaicans came here from New York to sell fucking, you know, bricks of cocaine, somehow I wound up meeting one at a bar or something. And they became my new connects. Mexicans, you know, that are over here illegally and they're getting their coke from the guy's uncle who's in a cartel. I mean, somehow I wound up around these dudes. And when between my dad raising me on gangster movies and me growing up wanting to be nothing more than a criminal DJ, but other than that, my main goal was to be like these guys in the movies. And when you have those aspirations and you wind up around the people that could put you in that exact situation, it's not good. It's not good. That's why when these guys talk about people they've been around and their friends and this and that, and I should worry about this and that, you have no fucking idea. You have no idea, man. I still got those friends, you know. Just let me know next time you're coming. You know, just let me know, and we'll see how it turns out. Yes, War, exactly. Tony is evil. What you're seeing is Satan blessing his lying boy. Tony can't go to heaven. Lying every day is possible. Well, Minio, I would certainly believe there's a devil giving this motherfucker the life he has, the lucky streak he's had throughout his life, than you know, God doing it, if I believed in that stuff. So you might be onto something. Chris, if you went to school and was legit, you would have been a CEO. That's what my mom said, and my daughter's mom used to say. A couple of weeks ago, we talked. She said, one thing me and your mom always talked about is you can't be beaten in an argument. There's no point in arguing with you. You already have 50 different things in your head to say that'll beat us in the argument. Like there's no point. My mom knew and she knew, don't ever argue with me. You can't win. It's fucking impossible. I got that skill from my dad. And also that if I put my mind, anything I put my mind to, I could wind up being. But, you know, it was just so much negativity. That's why I do spend a lot of my life. Shanna says it all the time, living in the past, wondering, you know, what could have been, you know, different ways things could have went that could have resulted in a different outcomes, you know, but you can't really do that to yourself, you know. But you're right, Pat. I truly believe anything I put my mind to, I would have wound up successful at it, you know. So, you know, even the DJ thing, I was just a local DJ, a few counties I was a big deal in, but I went from just making mixtapes in my bedroom to really rocking clubs and getting paid like a motherfucker for it. Like it was great. It was amazing. So, you know, I at least made that dream come true. But in the end, I fucked that up too. You know what I mean? I did. I always think about that. If I didn't give up that business, where I'd be now. Oh my God, the money I'd be making. Anyway, guys, this really turned into a Freestyle Friday. I hope you enjoyed my rambling and all the different subjects we touched on today. I hope you did. Some of it might have bored you to tears, but when you get me going, it's what happens. Anyway, guys, I really appreciate you. I love you, you know, like I said, anybody who donated, that's awesome. I'm not pressuring you guys anymore. I hope you still donate. I need you to, but I'm not pressuring nobody. I'm not doing none of that shit no more. I'm going to try to never ask again. So, and I think I'll be a lot calmer and less stressed out, and you guys will feel less, you know, pressure. You know, I apologize for any pressure I ever put on you guys. You guys are the reason I can do this for a living, even the politics shit. So thank you guys for everything. I love yous, and I'll see you next time. Peace.